Hello, everybody. Good evening to you. Welcome to class. We are going to be starting very soon. And so let's get ready. All right. So welcome everybody. Welcome to another session. Hope everyone is doing well. Let me get my screen shared and then we'll get started. Great to see you. Okay. So we are going to continue from where we All right, so we are going to start with a simple quiz. I'm trying to load a quiz and ask you some few questions about yesterday. And today we are going to create some interesting flows. So let's get ready. All right, so let me know if you can hear me. If I am audible, let me know in the chat. And I'm going to move straight to the first question. So I'm going to begin with a simple recap of what we studied yesterday. Just a few questions to help you refresh your memories. And so we are going to take a simple quiz. And this is the first question. It says, what is the best definition of automation according to yesterday's lesson? So what is the best definition of automation? So look at the answers, and if it is A, you type A in the chat. If it is B, you type B in the chat. If it is C, you put C in the chat, and so on. All right, so the first one says using artificial intelligence to replace human workers. Second one says the use of technology to perform tasks that would otherwise require human action. And C, it says a complex series of codes written by software developers. And D, manually performing a task faster using keyboard shortcuts. And I can see in the chat that almost everyone is typing B. So let's check. And the correct answer is definitely B. All right, so let's move on to the next one. And the next one says that in the context of Power Automate, what is a flow? What is a flow? What is a flow in the context of Power Automate? A new type of data storage in the cloud. What is a flow? So you've been hearing this new term this week about flow, workflow, automation, flow. What is it? Is it a programming language for building apps? C says an automated sequence of actions triggered by an event. What is it? Or D says a UI or Microsoft Power Platform. And I can see almost everyone saying that it is an automated sequence of actions. All right, so let's check. And so this is called a flow. This is called a flow. And so right now you need to add this to your vocabulary and your technical skills. You need to know that we have flows and you can create an automated sequence of actions. So what that means is that one action will trigger the next action and it will continue throughout till the very last action. And you can add multiple actions in the chain or the sequence, and all of them are automated. So this is a flow. And my third question, what was Microsoft Power Automate formerly known as? So who will get this one? Microsoft Power Automate, what was it called before? Was it called Microsoft Workflow? Was it called Microsoft Automator? Was it called Microsoft Flow or Microsoft Connector? What is it? All right, so I can see a lot of people are getting it right, and they are saying that it is C, Microsoft Flow, Microsoft Flow. That is wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, two more, and we'll just move on. So, which one of the following applications is not part of the Microsoft Power Platform suite? Which one of these applications is not part of the core Microsoft Power Platform suite? So let's see. Okay, so some people are saying B, Power Apps, some are saying D. All right. So, okay. All right. So a lot of people are saying D. Thank you. That's correct. The correct answer is actually D. The correct answer is D. So Power Query is not directly tied to the Power Apps. However, if you study Power BI, you'll know that Power Query is used within Power BI. All right. But then Power Query is also a standalone application, and it can be used in Power BI. It can be used in Excel. If you've never used Power Query, you should use it in Excel or use it in Power BI. It's an incredible tool that solves a lot of problems when you are dealing with data. Yes, so we have Power BI, which is part of the Power Platform. We have Power Apps. Power Apps is very similar to Power Automate, and it is also another system that you should get used to. Yeah, there are certain applications that if you're not introduced to them or you do not know what they can do, you really miss out on a lot. And there are two important Microsoft applications that we really need to pay attention to. One is called Power Apps, and of course, we have Power Automate. They are all parts of the Power Platform. And my last question here, which of the following is a key benefit or advantage of automation? Which of the following is an advantage or benefit of automation? So what is the answer? A says it requires advanced programming skills to implement. So this automation we've been hearing, some people think that it requires advanced programming skills to do automation. Other people think that it makes business processes more complex. And then D says that it reduces the need for technology infrastructure. Okay. So the correct answer here is B. It allows humans to focus on higher value work. So that is one serious benefit of automation. And it lets you know that you don't need advanced skills to do automation. As a matter of fact, the Power Automate that you are learning today can easily be used in robotics and a whole lot of cloud functionalities. All right. So we talked about automation yesterday, the use of technology to perform tasks that would otherwise require human action. We mentioned that it allows you to set up a process once and let the system handle the tasks on your behalf without further human interaction. And we talked about what a workflow is. We said a workflow is a sequence of connected steps that complete a specific process. And when it is automated, it is called a flow. And we talked about the Power Apps yesterday. We mentioned Power BI. We mentioned the Power Platforms. We mentioned Power BI. We mentioned Power Apps. We mentioned Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent, and Power Pages. We mentioned them yesterday. So today we are going to start our lesson by building our first flows. And yesterday, I think we created a very, very simple flow. Who can remind us what the flow was? Before we ended the class, we created a simple flow. What was it about? Who can remind us what the flow was? So, okay. So it was a manual flow and a manual email, but what was the trigger? What was the trigger? Okay. All right. So today we are going to work on a number of flows, and it's going to prepare a way for us to be able to do some advanced flows. And so let's open to our Power Automate. If you have yours, open to your Power Automate and we will get started. We will get started. All right, so we'll just create some simple automations, and I'm not really happy that some are facing some challenges. I'm still looking out for a way to help you to be able to solve this. All right. So to get into that, yes, so the email, the account I gave yesterday, I could have given that, but it doesn't have the ability to send an email. We don't have license on that to send email. That's the only thing. And most of the examples here are going to be sending email. So I'm still looking out for a way to help us get a solution. But for those who have the access, just practice with me. If you don't have it, then just look for a way. But then I'll come up with a solution definitely for everyone to be able to. Yeah, so that is a little issue we have with Microsoft. There are a lot of licenses on so many things. All right. So before we start creating a few flows, we are going to take a look at the building blocks of automation again. So yesterday we mentioned that for a flow to be created, we have what is called a trigger. And the trigger is the event that initiates the flow or starts the flow. We have an action, which is the task that happens after the flow. So the task that happens after the flow. We have what is called a connector. And this connector is a bridge that links two or more apps or services together. And so we talked a little bit about the triggers yesterday. And we mentioned that we have automated triggers, we have instant triggers, we have scheduled triggers. And all of these are different triggers you will use anytime you want to create an automation or a flow. You need to choose either a schedule. Today we'll try some scheduled. I think our first automation will be a scheduled one. So we'll use a scheduled trigger or scheduled trigger, however you pronounce it. Then we have the automated triggers. They start when something happens. They start when something happens. So one of our flows today, we will use automated triggers. And what we are going to do, which is going to be one of the tasks before we connect this into, let's say, a web application, we are going to begin with Microsoft Forms, and we are going to allow the user to fill a form. And after the form is filled, we are going to pick the user's details and send the user an email to thank the user for completing the form. And also, we will create another action where we will send ourselves an email letting us know that someone has completed the Microsoft Forms. So that is one interesting one because you can create certain responses or automated responses to your users when they perform certain actions within your application. So that is a very important flow we'll be creating today. And we are going to use a trigger when there is a new response in the Microsoft Forms. The instant triggers are also manual triggers like we saw yesterday. And of course, the action is a step. But when we say connectors, connectors allow Power Automate to talk to different services and applications. So they link your flow to Microsoft apps and third-party services. We will see that there are different types of connectors. And these connectors, we have free or standard connectors. And these are included in most licenses for you to be able to perform simple flows. And then we have what is called premium connectors. These require licenses. So there are some premium connectors. And of course, if you are aware of them, these are connectors you pay a license for you to be able to perform certain tasks. For example, to connect automate to your web application, it doesn't fall under the free connectors. It falls under the premium connectors because you need to use HTTP as the trigger. Use HTTP as a trigger and provide an endpoint where, let's say, a form in your website can submit to an endpoint, and that endpoint will connect to Power Automate. So that is outside the Microsoft ecosystem. And so your server is different. And so to send information from your server to Power Automate, it falls under the premium connectors. That connector is called an HTTP connector, and it is a premium one. For example, if you have an a CRM system, you can also use premium connectors to connect to your CRM to perform a lot of interesting things. And as a matter of fact, with Power Automate, most of the advanced connectors are all premium connectors. And so it is important that you use it within the license or the paid version. Yes, and Microsoft can give you about 90 days free trial to be able to test all the premium connectors. Yeah, so this is something important I want us to talk about. And when it comes to the connectors, Microsoft themselves have Microsoft classified connectors. These connectors connect to Microsoft 365 ecosystem, perfect for business and productivity tasks. So like Outlook connects to Outlook and Outlook email and calendar. SharePoint allows you to access files, lists, libraries stored in your SharePoint. So apart from Microsoft OneDrive, Microsoft has another system called the SharePoint that allows you to store a lot of data as well. And then we have Excel Online for business. You can create automations for Microsoft to populate Excel files for you when it is loaded to OneDrive or SharePoint. Microsoft can Power Automate can automatically populate Microsoft Excel and perform calculations or perform operations within Excel. Microsoft Teams also automate communications in Microsoft Teams, OneDrive, and all of that. Then we have the free connectors. Over here, it says we have Gmail, connects to Google email account. We have Twitter, we have RSS, we have Weather, we have Trello. These are free connectors that you can use. And then some of the premium connectors are these third-party connectors. And so let me share my screen and we'll look at some of the connectors available, and then we will proceed. All right, so let me stop sharing this. All right, so over here in Power Automate, you can simply create a flow, and over here, these are the flows. So by this time, you should be used to this already. You can use your scheduled. So our first flow will be creating a scheduled one, and then we have automated flow, we have instant flow, and the rest we'll tackle them in advanced classes. And we already mentioned working with templates. And so there are hundreds of templates you can choose from to create your automation. All right, so let me click on automated flow. And over here to start any flow, of course, you give your flow a name and you choose your trigger. So by now, this should be very, very familiar right now. But when I skip this, it's going to create this over here for me to choose my trigger. And this your trigger is either an action or a connector. And so over here, if you have favorite connectors, they will be stored here. Over here, we have some AI capable connectors or connectors with AI capabilities. And then there are certain connectors or built-in tools over here. We have HTTP. This is very, very useful when you are dealing with a web application. We have manual trigger to manually trigger. And we have Microsoft Teams webhooks, and then we have requests. Also, when you come here, you can see by connector, you can see some of the built-in connectors. And like I mentioned, HTTP is an important connector if you want to connect to a third-party server. And it really solves a lot of problems if you have an application, a mobile app, a web application, any system, and you want to automate some portions of it. All you have to do is to use a HTTP connector. And with this HTTP connector, it allows you to communicate with your server. For example, in Rate Africa, we are using this HTTP connector to send verification code. So if you try registering for Rate Africa right now, you are going to see that an email will be sent to you that will push a code to you. So that's part of the system. I built it, and what I did was that I used PHP to generate a random 6-digit code. This 6-digit code is generated within the PHP after you submit the form, and then our database stores your data, generates the code, and then pushes your whole response to the Power Automate endpoint. So once you use the HTTP, you are going to create something called an endpoint. That is going to be a listener that will listen to, let's say, your form. Now, most of the time when you are creating a web form, you have to submit the form action directly to the connector or the endpoint. And that is how your form inputs will come to Power Automate. All right. But what we did at Rate Africa, we actually received the form entries ourselves, stored it in a database, and then reposted it to the endpoint using the HTTP connector. So after that, what happens is that within the PHP, the form can be an HTML form, but within the PHP, we can write PHP to generate a random 6-digit code. So we did that in the PHP. So after we stored your data, then we repost together with the generated code, verification code, and the form inputs to the endpoint. And now all your data will come to Power Automate. Power Automate receives your information and then is able to send you an automated email. Now we know that PHP can send an email. We've tried it, but there are certain servers that have issues ensuring that the emails are delivered. And so instead of using PHP to do that, we are using Power Automate to receive the form entries and to send it through Microsoft 365. That gives a greater guarantee that the email will be sent. So once you receive it, you provide the code. And because we have the code in session, we are able to verify if the code is correct. And then you proceed with the registration. So if you understand what I'm saying, that is what happens. So we have built-in connectors. We have standard connectors. So these are some of the standard connectors here. Outlook.com. And this Outlook.com connector allows you to manage your mail, calendar, and so on. We have RSS for you to connect to newsfeed, or any feed from any website or any API. All right, so all of these are standard connectors. And of course, we have the premium connectors here. And these premium connectors are advanced connectors like Azure DevOps. And this Azure DevOps provides services for teams to share code, track work, and ship software for any language, all in a single package. It is a perfect complement to your IDE. So there are a lot of premium connectors that you can really use this in your organization to solve a lot of problems, to do incredible tasks, to make sure that things get done. So these are very, very powerful. For example, the HTTP I talked about is premium. It's not free. It's not free. If you want to use a free version, you get a 3 month trial. So all of these live chats, you can use all of these. And these are possibilities. So what this means is that it is possible to connect to all of these third-party platforms and systems to perform automations. It is possible to connect to all of these to perform automations. And so if you want to do serious automation, or the time comes for you to do serious automations, all of these are possible. So you take time, you research into them, and then you get them to work. So let me see if there's any connector for Trello. Let me check here. Let me see if there is for Slack. Okay, we even have Slack. We have a whole lot. Let me see if Spinach. I don't think Spinach will have any connector, but there are a lot of third-party applications that you can perform right here. This is very, very important. All right. So this leads us to the connectors. And after talking about the connectors, we are going to build our first flow. And this first flow is going to be a simple flow that is going to create a daily email reminder. So let's say every day at a certain time, you want to receive a reminder to do something. So this, obviously, we are going to use one of the types of flows. So I'm going to ask you what type of flow we are going to use to achieve this. You can plan this for you to receive an email or perform any action at any point of time within the day, within the week. So imagine all the possible connectors. Imagine all the possible connectors. All right. These are possibilities, things you can really do with Power Automate. And imagine you've taken the time to automate certain things to happen at certain times within the day or the week, all automatically. All right. So let's start with this, creating a daily email reminder. And this particular email reminder, we are going to go back to creating a flow. And I'm going to ask you what type of flow we should use over here. So let's share this. And some have already taken the lead, and they are saying this is scheduled flow. So this particular lesson, I intentionally took my time for you to get used to it, because for most people, this is a new environment, this is a new system, this is something you've not been using. But then it is what you've been lacking. It's what you've been lacking and what you want to really know. So I wish you spend more time here trying things. It is amazing what you can do with this. As simple as it looks, it's amazing what you can do. And you move from theory to really implementing this in your life, I mean your work and everything. All right. So when you come back to the interface of um, Power Automate, you are going to see that previously we had a button to create your flow from here, but now it has been connected to Copilot. So this means that with AI, you can begin to create automation with Copilot. So Copilot is just like ChatGPT, just the Google version of ChatGPT. And so this is another AI that you can use to create automation. So you can type whatever prompt you want, and let's see what you can do. And apart from this, you can see that we had some previous um, options there for you to choose. All right. So suggested flow, because I typed a prompt, so this can be anything you type, with the AI prompt, you can just feel free and explain yourself. So it is suggesting that if you like this AI generated suggestion, choose keep it and continue. So what it means is that it is giving me a trigger called recurrence. Wow. And then an action, post a message in a chat or channel in Microsoft Teams. This is really, really interesting. This is really, really interesting. So if you use Teams in your organizations, and like I mentioned, a lot of companies depend on Microsoft to operate. So you can send Teams message automatically. It is very, very important and it's very powerful what you can do. All right. So this is definitely what we are going to be using, but we are not going to send to Teams. And so let me go back to what we would have done, and then we will connect it to this. So it says that every month, copy all files from OneDrive folder to another OneDrive folder every month. Copy all rows from an Excel file to another Excel file with a click of a button. Okay. When a new item is created in SharePoint, send me an email. So these are example prompts, but you can describe in detail what kind of automation do you want to do. So let's say that in your organization, you are supposed to connect to a service on AWS or Microsoft Azure, and you want to automate something, you can just come here and feel free, the same way you are free with ChatGPT, and then describe what you want to do. And then Copilot will guide you to create that automation. All right. Now, when I go to create our daily reminder, we are going to use the scheduled cloud flow, just like you mentioned. And in our next lesson, I'm going to talk more about the distinction between the cloud flow and the desktop flow, because we have the desktop version, we have the cloud. So which one are we using right now? What am I using now? Is it the desktop flow or the cloud flow? Who can tell me? All right, so most of you are saying cloud, and this is correct. And the cloud flow is usually hosted on this URL. It says make.powerautomate.com. So this means that if you want to Okay, can you hear me now? All right, I'm so sorry. There was a sudden power outage. So I connected to a different network and it just came back. So let me share and continue. All right. So what I was saying is that the cloud is hosted on this URL and it is called make.powerautomate.com. Make.powerautomate.com. So the same way you are you are used to Microsoft Word, you are used to Excel and PowerPoint. As a professional, I want you to get more used to Power Automate to explore its possibilities and what you can do with it. Because the more you use this, the more you understand it, the more you know what is possible. Yes, so by this time, this interface should begin to look very familiar to everyone here. All right, so let's begin with the scheduled flow. And this particular flow, we are going to create a daily reminder. And who can give me something that you are supposed to do every day? And let's use that to create our daily flow. Something you are supposed to do every day. So we'll just create a reminder that is more realistic to remind us of a daily activity. Okay, I think workouts is not bad at all. So daily workouts. Daily workouts. All right. So just give your flow a name, feel free and create your flow, however you want to call it. Then over here, you create a schedule. So this is the important part. All right. And this important part here says that when do you want the flow to begin? So starting at today, today is the 12th of November, starting today is the 12th of November, at what time? So this is the start day and start time. But then this automation is going to run every single day. So long as you have it in your system, it's going to run every day. You don't have to do anything about it. It's just going to work. All right. So let's say every day, what time do you want to, no, let's just choose any time, 6 a.m. every day. All right. This is not, okay, this is the first time you want it to begin. All right. So you can change this 6 a.m. You can choose anytime at all, anytime, of course, a.m., p.m., whatever. But this is a part. How many times do you want it to be repeated? If you put one here, it means once. And what is the frequency? The frequency here, we have minute. If you use minute, this means every 1 minute, it is going to trigger. This is the trigger we are creating. It's going to trigger the flow. You can use every second, every minute, every hour. So it means you can perform an automation every 1 hour. If there are some emails that you don't want to forget, you can automate them for them to be sent every day, every 1 hour, every week, every month. You can customize all of them. So for the days, you can choose the days. That is if you choose week. And then for every month, you can choose 1 month. So right now we are choosing 1 day, and this is what we are going to use. However, cannot sit here for a whole day, unless we choose a time that is yet to happen. But to make this easier, let me just choose minute and make it every 5 minutes. And so after we create this flow, every 5 minutes is going to work. So let's go ahead and click on create. And once this is created, we are going to see a trigger called, what is the name of this trigger? Please put it in the chat for me. What's the name of this trigger? Let me know if you can see my screen. All right, so remember when we use Copilot, Copilot was able to tell us that we are going to use recurrence. So recurrence is a scheduled trigger. Now, after you create a scheduled trigger, that's all, you are done. All you have to do is to add the action. What do we want to do every 5 minutes? You can say send an email, and you are going to see send email V2 here. And the more you explore all the other options, the more you see it to work. If you use a Microsoft license, you can use a V3 as well, and it will connect to your account, and it also works perfectly. So with this V2, you can go ahead and input your email here. So whatever email, so I'm going to receive some emails from you. So please let me get some 3 to 5 emails, and then we make sure that everyone gets this reminder, and you are going to see how every 5 minutes we are going to hear from this system. So let's go to Ibrahim Seri at ibrahimseri5@gmail.com. So ibrahimseri5@gmail.com. Okay. Then we have Musumbi Francis. Simbi Francis 5. Hey, why are you 5 like that? Okay. And then we have Michael Koppas at gmail.com. I'm going to add 2 more. We have just going to add 2 more. So Owusu Opoku Richard at gmail.com. And the last one, let me just choose the last one. I'm going to choose F Jidani40 at gmail.com. All right. All right, that's fine. So the subject, you can just say time to work out. Then we can go ahead and say hi, this is your reminder to start working out. Remember, no pain, no gain. Yeah. Several years ago, I went to the gym and I was consistent, and there was a sign in the gym that said, no pain, no gain. And the workout was so difficult. It was so difficult. But anytime you see the banner that says no pain, no gain, it motivates you to let you know that you have to suffer for it and you'll gain. So whatever you are suffering for, you are going to gain. All right. So no pain, no gain is a good motivation. All right. So every day, whether you feel like it or not, just have to get up and go. So we are done actually. But then we can also come here and look at so everything we are doing here are called parameters. So anytime you are adding an action, every action comes with parameters. So you provide values for the parameters. And so we've done the 2, we've done subject, we've done body. And you can see that these are required parameters with a star. We can also look at advanced parameters. And advanced parameters here, this means we can add a CC and we can add BCC. So if you want to copy someone else, so let me copy someone and see. Someone says excuses don't burn calories. Oh my goodness. That's so true. So we have Kaltongole Tony02 at gmail.com. So CC, and let me add one BCC. So BCC here, I'm going to use Ali Kola Wole 04 at gmail.com. All right. So just to test all of them. All right. So that is it. This is our flow, a very, very simple flow. Remember how we set the recurrence? We chose 5, every interval 5, and then the frequency minutes. Time zone is also important. So you can choose your time zone. That is true. So my time zone is UTC 00. So I'm going to use UTC 00, which is somewhere here. I use this one. Good. All right. So that is it. So when all the parameters are set, you are done. All you have to do is to save it. Once you save it, it is saved. If there are any errors, you are going to be told that there are errors. So this is a simple automation and there are no errors here. So let's test it, and you can test it manually or you can test it when they are automatic or previous runs. So let's use manual and then we test. And once I click on this, it's going to test. If there are errors, we will be told. But whenever you see these check marks, it means it worked. This means every 5 minutes, we are going to receive the emails. So let's all start checking whether the test one has been delivered. And after the test one is delivered, you can see that. So that one went 25 seconds ago. So if you received it, let us know. And we will see that every 5 minutes, without doing anything, Microsoft will love your perspective. How likely are you to recommend Power Automate? Oh, very likely. I know why, very, very likely, because this is helping me in my organization to solve some serious problems. You see, this is why I'm very particular about this automation. If you don't have it as part of your knowledge, you are going to miss out. Yes, so you need to understand it and you need to try certain automations, especially an industry level automation where you see that it is doing something in your company. And then also in your day-to-day life, try and automate something. Just try and automate something in your own life and see. And if you start automating a lot of things that you would have forgotten, a time will come, you see that you have more than 10 automations that are just working for you. And you will see the impact that these are things I would have done myself, but they are all working automatically. They are all working automatically. And if you even have to pay a license to automate a lot of tasks, it is worth it because you can really automate some serious stuff if you study hard and really know how to use this Power Automate really, really well. You can automate a lot of things. All right. So in the next 5 minutes, we are going to see if it will send it again automatically. I'm not going to do anything about it. All right. So let's go ahead and when the next one works, you let me know. So over here, you are going to get a 28-day run history for you to see all the times that it ran. So it ran 2 minutes ago. This means that in the next 3 minutes, we will see if it will run automatically. And the connectors are here, the owners are here, and it is very important to know that you can share an automation. So in Microsoft 365, if you use the official license, you can share things within your organization. So if there are any workers in your organization, you can share with them, and they too will receive this automation. So once I click on this, they will also have access to it. So what will happen is that when they go to their flows, they are going to see flows that are shared with me. So you see, flows that are shared with me. When you go to shared with me, you are going to see flows that others have shared with you. And so these flows, you can see them and you can edit them, you can run them, you can share, and you can do so many things over here. Yeah, so there are different flows that can be shared with you. So right here, you can do so many things. You can also turn it off, like what is going to be sending every 5 minutes. If you are tired of it, or you want to put a stop to it or a hold on it, you can turn it off. You can also view analytics to see the data on how it has been operating since you started it. You can get the history or the analytics of it. You can delete it if you don't want it anymore. You can export, save as, you can share, and that is so fine. So save as means you can even duplicate it. All right. So you can see your desktop flows, your cloud flows, and this is what we just created. So let me just click on it again. And let me see if the second one has been sent 2 minutes ago. So please check if you got the second one. Please check if you got the second one. Let me know. So, all right. So you can see that it's working. This is so interesting, so interesting. And it lets you know that every day you can have some things working for you. I'll let you receive one more and then I'll stop it. All right. So let's go ahead and create our second flow. Our second flow, I actually want to introduce you to conditional flow. I was taking the time to find some important conditional flows that we can do so that we know how to configure the conditional flow. So we will just try something simple, but it's possible to create conditional flow. That is a conditional logic. If yes, this should happen. If no, that should happen. All right. Sometimes getting certain examples that will make sense in class, you need more time to get that. So let me just try. For conditional flows, we are going to create another scheduled one. And this scheduled, let's call it my first conditional flow. And we are going to say every day. And because I want us to see it, let me choose minute and just put another 3 minutes, and begins today, 10 a.m. is fine. Then create. So we'll get another recurrence trigger, but then the next step we are going to add, which is our action, we are going to type condition. So over here, we have controls that can create conditions. It says identifies which block of actions to execute based on evaluations of condition input. Okay. And then we have do until. All right. So in programming, you can see that we have do while loops, we have for loops, so these are different types of conditions. So this is a condition that will do until, but this is an if condition that will create a branch if yes or no. So when we choose this, look at how it looks like. You are going to see a condition here. So with this condition, what is actually going to happen is that you are going to set your parameters to evaluate something. And if it is true, you can create your actions under true. Okay, so Poco got a third one. So, all right. So let me see if anyone else got a third one so that I'll stop it. If not, you'll keep getting it. So imagine how this is working. So we are just here in class and you are just sending emails automatically. I think this is really cool. Outlook can help you schedule an email. So if you want to send a mail, you can, instead of hitting send, you can use schedule and you can choose when to send it. But the fact that you can automate it for it to be recurrent or to repeat automatically is really interesting. How Power Automate can do this. So let me save this. We'll come back to it. Let me save it and let's go back to our flows. And we can target this flow that we created here, daily workout. So does it mean you are getting the no pain, no gain message? Did you see the no pain, no gain? Okay. All right. Thank you. So here we can just turn it off. This means that we want to put it on hold. We want to put it on hold. So that is how it will look if you put it on hold. So let's say you are posting something to social media every day. Okay, we are posting something to social media every day. And what is happening now is that you want to put a hold on it. So we can put a hold on it. All right, let me go back to my cloud flows and continue with the condition flow. So because we have spent some time here, you can see that everything is starting to look familiar and everything is starting to look you are starting to understand this. So if you try more flows, you are going to see, we are going to master this and you'll be able to really use it well. And like I mentioned, there are some industrial automations you can create with this. That is very, very interesting. All right, so this is our current flow. We have our condition and there's true and there's false. True means that the condition that you will state over here, if it is true, you can put an action here so that that action should take place if it is true. If it is true. Okay, you can post an article to LinkedIn. You can post an article on your company page. Imagine, this is wonderful. So I'm not ready to log into LinkedIn, so let's see what we can do. Let's just send an email again. And remember, any action or any connection requires authentication. So you need to provide the right parameters and the right logins if you want to log in. All right. So you can also set an action for false. So you can see what is happening here. So we have true, we have false, and I can create a true email and a false email. So I can create a condition here. If it is true, this email should be sent. If it is false, this email should be sent. All right. So there is, when you click on condition, this is where you define your condition. So here you choose a value. You choose a value. You choose a value. And this value, it says press hash to insert dynamic value or expression. I mean slash. So you can insert an expression. And you can also insert dynamic content. So when we choose an expression, let's see what expression we can choose over here. So there are a lot of expressions. In our next class, I'll get something very, very clear that we can easily relate to. But then let's test this. Let's look at the string functions. So let's say starts with, check if the string starts with a value, case sensitive. And then ends with. All right. All of these are string functions. We have logic function, that is if. Okay. Returns a specified value based on whether the expression resulted in true or false. Okay. So you can actually run an if here. Okay. So over here, let's see math functions. Return a random integer. Okay, let's see. Return a random integer. Minimum is 0, comma. Maximum is okay. So let's say minimum is 1, maximum is 7. All right. So this is just a simple example. And we are going to say that, let's add it and see. So here we have an expression here, and we are going to generate a random value. Okay. Now this random value, let's assume it is a day of the week. Day of the week. So day of the week. So we can say that Sunday is 1 and Saturday is 7. That means Monday is going to be 2. So how do we know if it is a weekday? So let's say if this is greater than, if it is greater than or equal to, all right, so it has to be greater than 1, has to be greater than 1, and greater than 1. I can just use a simple, you don't have to create multiple rows, just one is fine. So let's just assume that Monday is 1. Okay, just to make this explanation clearer. So if Monday is 1, what will be Friday? Okay, so what is Friday going to be? All right, not that I don't know. I just want to know if you are following. So this means if you want to say if it is between Monday and Friday, then what are we going to use? Is it going to be less than or equal to? If I say less than or equal to 5, would that be a correct expression for Monday to Friday? That is from 1 to 5. Less than or equal to, okay, so that is good. So let's just leave this like that. This means we have stated a condition that just do a random, pick a random number. All right. Now, this is not real, but we can make it real. If you want to choose the day of the week, we have daily, we have date functions there. Okay, but I'm just using this as an example. Like I said, I needed to take time to find something more relatable. But this is our expression. This is the value. So we said it is less than or equal to 5. So we will say that if it is true, then, sorry, let's edit this and create an email called weekday email. Weekday email automation. So let me send an email to 2 or 3 people from the same list. Those who couldn't receive it, I'm sending to Kweku K at Hotmail. Hey, Hotmail, it's been a long time since I heard of Hotmail. And then we have Alex Ngwe Ngweche at gmail.com. All right, and one more. I didn't get any email from our ladies in the class. Let me use Davy K957 at gmail.com. All right. So we have the weekday email, and this is a weekday test email. This automation checks, or this automation sends this particular email if this email on weekdays. All right. So that's it. That's it. So we've created something here and then false. This means if it is weekend, then a different mail should be sent. So this is really interesting. This is interesting. So let me use Owusu Opoku Richard at gmail.com. And then let me use Michael Coppers at gmail.com. And let me use last one, Musimbi Francis 5 at gmail.com. All right. Okay, so this is a weekend email. This email is sent only on weekends. All right. So, like I said, the condition, you can really set it to detect weekdays and weekend. I'm just using this as an example. So when we save this, the recurrence says every 3 minutes. Every 3 minutes in the time zone. All right, so where's my time zone? Yeah. All right, so save. And you can see that it's saving over here. And when it's done saving, you see this. And let's test it. I thought this is the first time we are creating this. Oh, it's been sending out as well. All right. Okay, so the first one is sent. Let me know whether it was a weekend or weekday that worked. So let me go back to edit and let me go back to test. Let's go to automatic with a recent trigger. That is it here. Let me actually go to the runs. Okay, so we sent it 28 seconds ago. And this was the condition. Let me click on it. And the value was what? Let me see. The following functions could not be evaluated. Oh my goodness. All right, so that means it didn't send. Did you receive it? Please let me know if you received it. Because sometimes, even if, okay, so some people didn't receive. I want to know if the other group received it. Because even if there's an error with a condition, it means the false people will get it. You see, it means the false people will get it. So this is a true or false. So you can see that Selassie got it, but Richard didn't get. So Richard is weekend. So Selassie, did you get weekday or weekend? Okay, so that's it. Was it weekday or weekend, Alex? Okay, weekday. All right. So every setting we are doing is actually writing a JSON code. So everything is also here in JSON here as well. So all the settings and parameters are being set as JSON. All right. So it is fine. I'll find a better example for us to test the condition, but I just wanted you to see how the conditions work. Okay, but it worked for true. Let me see true. So the first time it ran, okay. So status code is 200. 200 is a correct code. It succeeded. So the true version worked. The true version worked. So the other one didn't work because it failed. It failed. And it was a weekday one that's worked. Okay. So let's just leave it and continue. We'll create one more flow. All right. Okay. So it was sent again. Was it weekday or weekend? Let me know which one you got. Okay, still weekday. So it's still weekday. Yeah, so this is random. So it's still weekday. All right. So whichever one works, that is what will be activated based on the condition. So it's still the weekday that worked. All right. So that's correct. And I'm sure we understand it. All right. So this is a conditional flow. And you can also add additional steps. If you edit this, you can still add additional steps. And even with this, you can continue to add additional steps over here and imagine a flow that can have multiple steps. So the next flow we are going to create is going to have multiple steps. And to do that, I want us to make good use of Microsoft Forms. So here we are going to create a form. This form here, we are intentionally going to create a form to allow users to register for something. So let's just choose students and let me pause this automation first. Let me pause it. If not, we are going to keep getting it. All right, let me just pause it. So my flows, and I'm going to pause it right here, turn it off. All right, that's fine. So we are going to use Microsoft Forms to create an interesting automation here. And let's call this tech career registration form, tech career registration form. So this is Microsoft Form. So once you have a Microsoft account or Microsoft license, there are several apps in your app launcher here that you can use. So I have access to all of these. Okay, I can create anything here and I can automate anything within the Microsoft ecosystem. And all of these are not enough. We even have more apps here in the Microsoft 365. So right now, there's Microsoft Forms. I don't know if you've tried Microsoft Bookings. It's another interesting app. So just like you have your Google Calendar, you can create bookings, and bookings will allow your customers or your users to schedule appointment with you. And the appointment they schedule, they can choose any time based on your availability. So here, once you program it, it will publish your availability on a web page, and they can choose any convenient time that they want out of your available periods and days, and they can schedule a meeting with you. Google has that. Microsoft has it in Bookings. If you've not tried it, you can go check it out. So there are a lot of apps and you can create automations on all of them. So Microsoft Forms, I can't see it here, but when I click here, I can see it. So let's create this registration form. And let's say kickstarts your tech career with automation. And then we are going to ask a few questions here. So let's say your first name, and we are going to make it required. Then we can say your last name, also make it required. Then we can say your email, also required. And I like to know your country. So your country also required. And then let's choose your tech career path. Tech career path. Now this tech career path, okay, I don't want it to be an answer. I want it to be multiple choice. So let me delete this and put here, sorry, I made a mistake again. Let's choose choice. And the choice, let's say tech career path. And we are going to have data analytics here. We're going to have data science and machine learning. We are going to have cybersecurity. We are going to have cloud computing. We are going to have DevOps. We are going to have software engineering. We are going to have full stack web development. We are going to have, let's say, digital creative design. And we are going to have digital marketing. So you can see this form. This is a Microsoft form. But then you can also have a form on your own website or in your web application. All right, so this is a simple form I want to put automation behind. And I'm going to tell Microsoft's Power Automate to listen to the entries, and whoever submits something, it should automatically create a personalized response. Personalized response. I like that. Personalized response. All right. So with this, let me click on collect responses, and anyone can respond. And I usually like to shorten the URL, then copy the link. So with this link, what it means is that anyone can fill the form. So this is a form, and here you can choose your career path. It's beginning to look very long, so I'm going to change it to a drop down. So let's see how we can make this a drop down. So to make this one a drop down, I think over here you can see drop down. Okay. All right, let's check and see if it is a drop down. All right, so that's good. I like it this way. So this is a normal form. You know, we create Microsoft forms all the time. We fill Microsoft forms every day. But this one here, we are actually going to put it behind an automation and allow Power Automate to really perform automation on it. And the automation we want to perform, we want to listen to the submissions, and we want to send personalized emails to everyone who submits. And this particular automation will allow us to try out new things and will allow us to understand different things that we've not seen before. All right. So let's begin. So in Power Automate, we can come to new flow. And what type of flow should we create here? Over here, we are using an event. This means when somebody fills a form. So what type of flow is this? Who can tell me what type of flow is this? It's going to listen to the form, and anytime somebody fills a form, it's going to start working. So what type of flow is this? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. I don't know if my chat is working. And someone says it's a scheduled flow. Are you sure? Okay. Another person says it is automated. Automated. All right, fine. So let's use an automated flow. So with this automated flow, let's read what it says. It says, free yourself from repetitive work just by connecting apps you already use. Automate alert, report, and other tasks. So you see, Power Automate really free you. This is why I'm going to encourage you to start automating certain things that you really do at work and certain things that you really you do in your personal life. So what you are going to do is to ask ChatGPT that, is this automation possible with Power Automate? Then ChatGPT will tell you yes or no. So look at a lot of things you do and see which ones you can automate. So this week, the assignment we are going to be given, we are definitely going to build an automation that is impressive. And so this particular example will let you see how to create something really nice. So this one, let's say automated thank you message. Let's just give it any name. Automated thank you message with Microsoft Forms. Then what is going to be the trigger? You can see my trigger is just here. When a new response is submitted in Microsoft Forms, you see? So that was so easy. If not, let me see Forms. Okay. So these are the triggers when a response is deleted. Okay. When a form is submitted by Gravity Forms. When a new form is submitted in Teams Forms. Okay, so all of these are triggers you can use, and there are more. There are more triggers. So these are different triggers, but ours is very, very simple. We are going to use Microsoft Forms when a new response is submitted. So let's create it. So you just choose your trigger and that's it. Yes, so it was checking if my account is valid for Microsoft Forms. And so it checked and is valid for Microsoft Forms. But then you are saying that when a form is submitted, the next question is, which form are you talking about? Because there are several forms in your account. So the first parameter is your form ID. And you can either input an ID or you can pick a form. This particular form, I think we called it tech career something. So we'll go here and look for tech career something. Is that it? Tech career registration form. So by choosing this, I have selected the form. All right. So now that the form is selected, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? We are going to add another step to get the response details. You see, so this particular flow, this is how it's going to be. We are going to add another steps, and then we are going to get response details. So under Microsoft Forms, we are going to get response details. What does that mean? What this means is that the form we are creating, we need the details from the form. Now, our trigger has seen that there is a new entry, but then we want to fetch the details so that we can pick the user email and pick other details from the user. So the next step here is going to get the response details. So I'm going to select get response details. Now, to get the response details, I'm supposed to choose a form again. And you can see all the forms I have in my account. And I'm going to choose Tech Career Registration Form and then get the response ID. This response ID is going to introduce us to what we call dynamic content. You can start with a slash, or you can just click here. Insert dynamic content. So based on the form that it has listened to, we are going to fetch what is called a response ID. This response ID is the primary key of the whole submission. So I'm not looking for the email. I'm not looking for the name. I'm not looking for the career. I'm just looking for the ID. Because if I have the ID, I have all the data. So over here, I have the form ID and response ID. Now, when you were creating the form, you didn't see that there's a response ID, but in Microsoft Forms, every response has an ID. And when we were talking about databases, we mentioned the ID, primary key. I hope you remember that. So this is the ID of the form. So it's very, very important to get the form ID. Now that we have the form ID, we have the data. So now we can actually send an email to this particular person. So let's come here and now send an email. So to send an email, we are going to send an email to who? Here, we are going to send an email to the person who registered. So watch this. Over here, you can look for dynamic content. If you're not seeing dynamic content, you can click here and say this. Please, you can type what this is. Let me know if you can see my screen. What do you see over there? All right. So someone says use dynamic content. So when I click here, then I can now use a slash to insert dynamic content. Now look at this. All right, I didn't add last name. Okay, I added last name. So you can see that because of the response ID, we have fetched all the fields of the form. You can see that response ID is also part. But then we want to send it to the user's email. So this is a dynamic email that was sent back to the same person who filled the form. So the subject, look at what we can do. So we can say, hey, slash your name, welcome to the automation class. Then in the body, we can say dear slash first name. You can see why I collected first name. Dear first name, we are excited to welcome you to the slash to welcome you from slash your country to the tech career training. This training will prepare you for a successful career in your career path. You see? Congratulations on your admission. Best regards, Great Africa. All right, so this is what I wanted you to see. You can see how you can send an email with dynamic content. This means it's going to replace all these variables or placeholders with the data from the form. All right, so this email will go to the same person who filled the form. And when we create something like this on our server, this is how it's going to look like. You can collect the input and send an email back to the same person. And should we send an email to ourselves as well? Should we send an email to ourselves as well? All right, so let me add another step and send another email. And this one, I'm going to send an email to admissions at Recruit Africa. And I'm going to say new student registration via Microsoft Forms. Dear admissions team, please find below the details of the new students registered for / career path. Then I'll come here and say that the name of this person is / first name space / last name, then the email of the person is / you can see why I said this is interesting. Then I'll say that the country is / and the program is / career path. Best regards, sysadmin. All right. So my own system will send an email to myself, to the admissions, and I can add a copy. Let me add a copy to someone in the class so that we know if it worked. So let me send to Owusu Opoku Richard at gmail.com. Let's see if a copy will go to Richard. So you can see what we've done. This is incredible. This is nice. So once we save this, it is saving. So if you don't see anything, if you don't see test working, you check here, you know that it is still saving. When it is done, it's going to notify you that it is done saving. And when it's done saving, you should see the green bar telling you that your flow is ready to go. And this one, if you want to test it, even if you choose manual tests, it's not going to work because why is it not working? To see it work now, perform the starting action. Why is it not working? Why is it not working? Who can tell me why it is not working? It's waiting. Why is it not working? It requires the form to be filled. All right. So now this form, what I'm going to do now is to collect response, and I'm going to share in the chat. I want everyone to fill this form. So I'm putting the link in the chat. Please fill this form for me. Click on it and fill the form. Please fill this form for me. And let's see if this automation worked. Fill the form for me. And if it worked, we will know. Okay, so now you can see that the first one has worked. So this means Richard should check if Richard, you got the email. And I want everyone to check. I want everyone to check and see if they got the email. Thank you. And so right now, anytime you create Microsoft Forms, you can do automation. So some people are saying they received it, they received it. That is beautiful. I actually want to see how the emails look like. So Binti Omari, can you share your screen? Let's see how your email looked like. And then Richard, you can also share your screen to show us the admin version, and we'll close. So if you can raise your hand, those that I mentioned your names, if you can raise your hand, I'm going to allow you. And just share your screen. Let's see how it worked.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
Here is my email.
Okay. All right. So okay, this is how it looked like.
Yes.
So it's mentioned your name. You saw that I mentioned your name.
Yes.
And then it mentioned your country. It also
Yes.
mentioned your program. That
Yeah.
is beautiful. Thank you so much. That is beautiful.
Okay.
And even the subject, your name is in the subject. You can
Yes.
see
Yes. Yes.
how wow, that is so wonderful. That's nice. Okay, thank you so much. Richard, let's see your end, how it appeared.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, so
All right.
yes, we got so many responses.
Oh,
So this is one
wow.
of them.
Okay. All right. So these responses, okay, that's so interesting. These responses, we can highlight some of them, we can make some things bold, we can change colors, we can do a whole lot, and we can even convert it to an HTML web page. So the next time, I'll actually let us use an HTML web page where we can include a logo, we can customize it to look nicer. All right, but you can see how interesting this is, and every user has gotten their own response, and that is so interesting. This is really, really nice. So that is nice, and we have all seen that the what Power Automate can do. This is very, very simple. Yes, so we are going to give you an assignment, and you are going to work on an interesting automation that you will actually showcase to the world, and then we will have some few other lessons to try some advanced automation before we move on. But you are going to receive your assignment to work on something really nice. And so you'll get notes on what we've studied and you'll get a task to work on. So everyone should do it, publish it, let employers know that you have an experience with automation. This particular project, this particular exercise alone will really make a difference for you. So we are going to create something really nice and we are going to publish it. And we'll touch on some few other topics before we move on. So I want to thank you all very much, and I hope you've gained something from this lesson and you have benefited. So thank you. We will be meeting. But tomorrow you are going to get your task to work on your task. So just focus on your tasks for tomorrow and we'll meet again probably on Monday. So I wish you all the best. Let's keep learning, let's keep upgrading ourselves, and let's get better. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. All the best. Bye-bye to you all. All right, so the video too will be shared.